Okay, so we're back with these last couple of questions. So hopefully by now you're feeling pretty comfortable with cross multiplying, right? We're going to multiply our cross products here. We're going to find our cross products, set them equal to each other. Again, it does not matter which direction you write first. I tend to just put the one with the x. So I'm going to put 0.2 times x, 2/10 times x, equals 12.7 times 3. When I multiply that, I get 38.1. I want to get x by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by that 2/10. And then x is going to be 190.5. 190 and 5/10. Okay, there's no context here. It's just sort of a problem with numbers, no word problem behind it, so we don't know what the unit is on that. All right, number 6 has larger numbers, but don't let that scare you. The process is exactly the same. I always talk about what the process is. It doesn't matter if there are fractions here, decimals, negatives, it doesn't matter. Process is always the same. So I'm going to multiply these and multiply these. So 4,200 times x equals 8,500 times 5. 4,200 times x equals 42,500. That's what I get when I multiply those. And I'm going to divide both sides by 4,200. And in the directions, notice that it asked you to round to the nearest tenth. So to the nearest tenth, x would be 10.1. Okay, again, we don't have a unit on this one because we don't have a context associated with it. All right, number 7. So this is where I need people to not shut down just because there are a lot of words, all right? What you want to do is you kind of want to picture this in your head, the situation. And if you need to draw a picture, that's great, right? Go ahead and draw it so you can visualize it. That helps a lot to really see what's happening. And the other thing I'm going to tell you, which you would be tired of me saying if we were in class, is to include your units right in the proportion. That's how you're going to know that it's set up correctly. All right, so many small engines for saws, motorcycles, and utility tractors require a mixture of oil and gas. If an engine requires 20 ounces of oil for 5 gallons of gas, how much oil would be needed for 8 gallons of gas? Okay, so my engine takes 20 ounces of oil. OZ is the abbreviation for ounces. 20 ounces of oil when it has 5 gallons of gas. We want to know how many ounces of oil, how much oil, so we'll do ounces also because that makes sense, right? Would I need for 8 gallons of gas? So this is kind of, the setup is classic proportion setup. This to this at the same rate or whatever, this to this, right? If 5 songs cost $20 to buy, how much do 7 songs cost? If it costs 8 adults, $64 to go to the movies, how much would it cost 3 adults to go? So it's that same idea of here's what's happening here, we're going to compare it to what's happening over here. All right, so when I set up this proportion, okay, go ahead and try setting it up. There's not just one way to do that. Hopefully you've seen that by now. So I'm going to write one way up here as you're writing one on your paper. And I will say that you better have units on there. So one way to do it is 20 ounces to 5 gallons. So 20 ounces of oil to 5 gallons of gas. How many ounces of oil to 8 gallons of gas? It's one way to do it. You may also have said 20 ounces of oil. You might have kind of thought of it this way. Goes with 5 gallons of gas. how many ounces of oil goes with 8 gallons of gas? You could have thought of it this way. 5 gallons of gas needs 20 ounces of oil. 8 gallons of gas needs how many ounces of oil? How do I know that these are all correct? They're all going to give me the same answer. Well, in every case, 5 gets multiplied by x, 20 times 8. 5 times x, 20 times 8. 5 times x, 20 times 8. So they're all going to give me the same thing. So in any of these cases, I'm going to have 5 times x equals 20 times 8. 5x equals 160. Divide by 5. X is going to equal 32, but I don't want just an answer of 32. I want an answer of 32 ounces, or even better, 32 ounces of oil. Okay? If you think about having 32 in here, how can I really tell, based on all your math knowledge, that this is correct? Well, think about what happens. To go from here to here, I multiplied by 4. How do I get from 8 to 32? I also multiply by 4. Tells me they're the same, right? If I do the same thing to the numerator and to the denominator, then those two fractions are equivalent, which in the proportion means that they have, in each case, there's the same relationship. Okay, so that is the end of lesson 3.7. We're not going to do the further applications, although if you're interested, it's kind of interesting even just to read through it. It's about TV ratios, and if you've ever watched something and it says it's in widescreen, there's like a black bar at the top and the bottom, and that's because the ratio between the length and the width of that type of film format is different than other formats that are on your screen, so they have to kind of put the black bar at the top or bottom to keep it looking right, because if they stretched it to fit your screen, everyone would be distorted, right? The same idea. So, all right. Okay, so that's 3.7. That's the end of Module 3. The Module 3 review sheet is up already, so please make sure you're working on that. And then during classes Thursday and Friday, I'm happy to answer any questions about it. Remember that whichever in-person class you were in, you're welcome to come to either Zoom class. It's the same Zoom link. So there is class, let me see, Thursday at 1 and Friday at 11. And you can go to either one of those, and we'll just be going over anything on the review sheets for those. All right, thanks guys, have a great day.